Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentle people. We are just waiting for game number 5 to start. So, I thought, let's have a little bit of a chat, you and me. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing wonderful today, wherever you are in the world, as this is a global tournament. It is a nice midday here for me in the eastern part of Australia. Hope it's not too late for some of you tuning on in. Well, if that's what you like, I hope it is. We are about to go to game number 5 with Mixu versus 3DB. They have been fighting backwards and forwards, tooth and nail, to reach this point in the tournament. And, well, we're about to come down to it. I think both players are about to start. So you know what? Let's jump right on into it. If I can find the right button to press. They're in game. First, have ourselves a look. So we have the English up against the Chinese. Woohoo! This is going to be fun. I love me some Chinese, and we've seen 3D. We saw 3DB at how well he has played his Chinese this tournament actually. So let's get underway. On your blue corner, 3DB, we'll be picking up your Chinese. And then over on the red side, you've got Mixu. We'll be rocking your English. I almost said Chinese as well. That's just how happy I am to see a Chinese. So on this map, I believe this is called Healandale. Yeah, it is Healandale. On this map, this is a more defensive oriented. Oh, okay, we'll come back to that. This is a more defensive orientated map, so this allows more defensive style approaches where Delhi, even the Chinese becomes top tier 4 in these scenarios. Oh, I haven't put sound on. There we go. The Chinese become top tier 4 in these scenarios because they can hold these choke points real well with the barb, and then also they've got a really defensive situated lineup because they want to boom or get a lot of eco out or make their way to the castle age where they'll start to really shine with their units. But the English are no slouches in that matter either. They're a fairly defensive side as well, so we should see a little bit of a longer game, potentially a boom coming out from one or both of these players. One thing to note now, let's have a little look at these resource bonds. So I just want to point out, there is a large gold vein here, and it's within the base of 3DB. Unfortunately, for our friend over here, Mixu, he's got a gold vein. It's his large gold vein too. It is outside his base. That is going to be a lot harder to defend. Sure, he can still wall off over here and then wall off over here, but that still allows numerous ways to kind of contest or fight to put pressure on the map to get in to stop that gold vein. So once this gold's going out, so we won't see that to be too much of a hassle until late feudal, early castle. But it's just something to keep an eye on. It's a little bit of a tougher spawn for Mixu, but he does have a nice little hunt right next to his base. But then at the same time, so does B, and B has got that Imperial officer underway, working his butt off. For those of you who don't know, Imperial officer for the Chinese can help inspire or increase the efficiency of a resource drop-off point by 20%. And you'll see there, instead of 10 from a normal villager, he drops off 12. And what he's also doing there is every time someone drops off food, you go up a tax. So each time a resource is returned, you go up tax. He just forcefully returns some of these to hit 20 gold, and then he collected that 20 gold. And this is how the Chinese will get their gold to go up to their age up. So you'll see that they're pretty much abandoned their gold until second age. So I can put more people into food and into wood to kind of stabilize or even get a little bit more defensive structures if they need it. Whereas over on the English, you are forced to build that gold mine. You usually have 3 villages, 2 to 3 villages, and it's usually up to you based on how you want to operate afterwards. If you leave your villages on gold, that indicates the blacksmith's probably going to be popped out and you're going to go for an upgrade for your archers. If you pull them off gold, then you're usually trying to get up your landmark faster and save for the push of food and wood. So the food and wood in our English instance is going to be the longbowman. That's the two styles that both these two players will be heading down. And we'll see how well that the Chinese can hold off that early aggression. Because he should have enough. He's 2 gold short from going up that age. So that's going to delay his age just a little bit. You can already see him. They're moving on out. He's getting ready for that Imperial officer to collect that gold. The Imperial officer will collect that gold, age up. Even thought about having to throw his villagers out here to get that extra gold. And now we should be seeing the Barb, I reckon, thrown out in this peak prime position. There we go. It's going to protect the large gold vein. It's going to protect the entryway into the base. On the map, it almost looks like you can walk up here. If that is, that's a little unfortunate for Mixu, because that means he's got 4 ways to get into his base. Now we're going to start inspiring this gold. So it looks like we're seeing a large gold transition from 3DB here. He wants to get a lot of gold up and running. At this stage, it's hard to predict where he wants to go with that gold. Is he going to go for the eco boom and try and get all his resource upgrades so he can start getting more and more value out of his villages? Will he start putting all that gold into upgrades in the blacksmith so he can be prepared when they go for a militaristic duel? We'll soon find out. We'll wait till that develops. And here we go. The longbowmen. They can't do anything against the Barb. There's just 0 that they can do. What they can do if the Barb spotted out, look at that beautiful range, covers absolutely everything perfectly, is they can rotate around to the north, and then they might find themselves, a very juicy hunt. But they don't know if that hunt's been worked upon. They don't even know that there is a hunt up there. The scout's going to find the Barb, and this should, there we go. He's started to decide and change his course of action. He's going to rotate back around. He's going to group on up. We'll probably see no more longbowmen come out. Yeah, he's already decided against it. He knows that Barb's in his way, and that's going to cause too much havoc for him to be able to get into his opponent's base. Already a little bit of a war coming up from B, so the Chinese player is continuing to lock himself in the very beautiful location that he does have. I mean, especially with that gold vein at the start. He's also started to spend all his gold. So where has he spent it all? He's getting professional scouts is where a large portion of that gold did go towards. I think that's why we saw the scouts leaving just before, because they are looking to find some of these deer. They're not actually picking anything up yet. Oh, they're going to go over to their opponent and ninja all that. Oh no, this is going to be dirty. Those villagers won't see it coming. He's got so many scouts here. 7 scouts. All that deer is going to be his. As now he starts heading his way up towards the deer farm. And Mixu knows that this potential is happening, but he can't do anything about it. Look at him. He's retreating, but little does he know, the end goal wasn't to actually kill those villagers. It was just to steal his food. And the food are now on the back of these horses. They're on the way. They're going to dodge the attack from these longbowmen. Oh my god, there's 2 hit points. It's down. But good little Micro picks that back up, and they're going to continue to run away with all those food that they've now gathered. And now some 2 horsemen are coming in, and they're like, hey, buddy, you're going to attack our scouts. We are going to deal with you this instant. And the attacks are now coming out, starting to clean up those longbowmen. As they're just attacking the longbowmen. They can't do anything. They need to retreat. They need to run. They're just running to their death at the moment. And now this is going to kind of cause a little bit of panic in Mixu. He's going to have to start either creating more longbowmen to outmass these horsemen, or he needs to tech switch into pikemen. He's got himself 2 TCs down, which is going to be very useful in defending this. These horsemen are still running underneath, which might not be the best strategy ever. And B is going to notice that there are 2 TCs on the field. You can already start seeing that Mixu 30 economy against 27 at the moment. So he's going to start producing huge quantities of resources soon. But I mean, this is a little ridiculous over here. The amount of deer carcasses he's got, 350 per deer carcass that are coming on in. The horsemen still want to make their way up that ramp, but they're just being shut down. as now the army of scouts are looking for the next hunt on the map, and they know exactly where it is. Whereas you can see Mixu, he's still fairly unsure of a lot of locations on this map. That kind of gives it a little bit difficulties. Like he knows that there's a gap up here, but he's not really doing anything about it. He's putting a blacksmith at the top here to give him some vision, and also to stop any idle time, because then he doesn't really have to wait for the walking of the villagers across to that location. But I don't know, it's a little lackluster. The scout's not doing anything. I think he's really focused on trying to get this build. He's eco underway in his base, but with that, he loses out on map knowledge. And that map knowledge, it's just paying dividends at the moment for B. He's happy. He's like, okay, if you want to play the turtle game, I'm going to collect all the food on the map. I can use my wood elsewhere. So whether that be seeds coming up soon in age 3, or allocate all my units to food and gold so I can have a huge push in military numbers. And now he's going to be aging up to age 3, and he will be going for that Imperial Academy. Oh, actually, no. He's going for the Song Dynasty, sorry. The Song Dynasty, it will be coming up shortly, because the Chinese, if they build 2 landmarks in the same region, they start getting themselves some bonuses. These horsemen are somehow doing enough damage to these archers to force them back to base. Good little trade there from the horsemen. Eventually that will go down, so he loses a little bit of control at the front, but the Chinese player doesn't really care too much about that. B is just happy to sit back, farm, get his production underway, and slowly try and catch back up. Pardon me, because he's a little bit behind at the moment, because he doesn't have that second TC, and that's what the English is banking on. The English is trying to hold off the aggression, hold off that Chinese horseman rush, and just produce villages, get that economy running. Because once that Song Dynasty kicks on in, which it will start to go real well in favor of B once he starts creating those villages, he'll start being able to pull back a bit of that villager lead. But Song Dynasty in 1 TC does not equal 2 TCs. I think it's a little like 1.7 TCs or 1.5 TCs. So he really needs a second TC to be able to really efficiently catch back up to his opponent. And then he's going to go for that Clockwork Tower. And with that Clockwork Tower, you'll probably see an Imperial officer rotate on over to start boosting that production. The Imperial officers, not only can they boost what's returned on trips, not only can they gather gold from buildings, they can also boost the efficiency of buildings as they come out, which increases their rate of spawn. And, well, Mixu, he's getting ready. It's a little bit out of sight for B. B's not going to know about this, as the stream of archers and then the rams are going to be prepared. I don't know if B's going to be prepared for this one. He doesn't really have any military. He's got so much food, like all the deer carcasses on the ground. I wish I could select them all. I mean, at least those 7, 8, 9, probably 10. That is 3,500 food right there. And because he's researched the wheelbarrow and also the hunter gathering, he's just returning all that food so fast. And you can look at that income per minute. Look how much food he is actually getting there. That wood, you can see Mixu has rotated on getting all that wood, because then he can start building these rams. And he's got 2 rams. He's knocking at the door. He's saying, hello, B. Are you ready for this? And B, he is not. He doesn't even. He's going to start trying to produce some units. He might start spamming some scouts out. He needs to start producing. He's got some palace guards, and he's rallying them up here. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. At the same time, the horsemen of his, they need to be back at home. Except they're going to be starting to put some aggression and pressure onto his opponent. Both sides have now entered each other's base. They're going to be trying to trade this. It looks like Mixu is a little bit distracted at home, that he's not pushing his own aggression. He could find so much here. And there we go. He starts making the move of himself. He's going to force B back. Get him out of his base. Get on out of here. He has to try and deal with this. Those horsemen aren't there yet. The wars are coming on up. He wants to try and get some wars available for his longbowmen, but those villagers are gotta die. It was a cheeky little strategy, but it's not working. He's now being assaulted from both sides. These palace guards, they are armored. They are standing up to his opponent. We don't have any. There we go. The camps are now down. I take that back. The camps are there. They're trying to heal up a little bit, but the turn around from B, the horsemen are here to fight this one more. Now, the Rams are still doing a bit of damage, but they're all alone. You got some horsemen coming after it. There's a new line of Mixu units that are coming up the back as they're still trying to defend here. They need to try and fight this one out. And we're gonna what? GG. Wow, that's... I don't know if he needed to GG there. He had so much more villages. He may have lost that fight, but surely he didn't lose that game. I'm shocked. The villager count. Look at the villager count. That is 20 odd villages ahead. He did lose the military, but that doesn't mean he was over. He wasn't done for at all. I'm speechless. My friends, I'm speechless about what just transpired. I mean, just look at this. It's very even across the board. The economy, a lot more in favor of B because of the hunts, but then the wood more in favor of Mixu because he was going for the longbowmen and ram structure. He did fall behind a little bit elsewhere, but I don't know. I don't feel like that was the GG scenario. I guess the age 3 did hit with the Clockwork Tower. He knew he was behind in terms of being able to get the landmark up. And then eventually, because of those palace guards were starting to swarm at the longbowmen were becoming a little bit more useless. But Mixu had the units, I mean the villages. He could, if he had held off, he could have got to age 3 and then kind of turned it back himself. But it's not going to be the case. That will actually be it for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the Age of Empires coverage from both not on this channel but on the oh, I cannot say that word. Why am I so bad at saying that word? On the Dominaticus channel. Remember to follow both channels to make sure you keep up to date. If you're interested in more of my casting, I do more Age of Empires content and Valorant content in the Oceanic region. That's something I love to do. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you for supporting these players. These players love being in these tournaments. I love casting these tournaments. I love seeing the support that Age of Empires gets, and I hope it continues to grow bigger and bigger. That's the goal anyway, and I hope to be along for the ride. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in. You have been wonderful. I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a good one.